Good morning, everybody. I wanted to take the time to go ahead and explain our big project that's happening starting today. And it's going to be something that I think you'll enjoy. It's about the oceans, and you have some freedom to choose a question, and then you're going to do some research. And so I'm really excited about this because you get to show off what you can do. You are a fifth grader, about to be a middle schooler, and I'm just really excited about this project. So let me go ahead and get right into to show you what the project will look like and go over all the directions. Okay, so it's going to be quite a bit, but let me go ahead and get started here. All right, so I'm sharing my screen because I wanted to show you all the pieces to this. Okay, so when you open up in Classroom, you'll notice these slides, and these are meant to be your directions. And so what I did is, back on the very first day that we learned about the oceans, I went ahead and asked you to think about what questions that you have about the ocean. And so these are some sample questions from your responses. So some things that people said was, how does climate change the oceans? What are some challenges we are now seeing with the ocean? How long will it take to fix all of the ocean problems? How deep is the ocean? How deep will it get if water rises? Where is the biggest wave? How did it happen? And what were the effects of it? What will our planet be like if there were no more ocean life? Would that have an effect on humans? Now that one's a challenging one because you're going to have to really make a lot of inferences because you're not going to find a direct answer to that. And then the last one, if we've only explored 5% of the ocean, what does the other 95% contain? So those are just some questions that people had. Some of your questions might fall into one of those categories, but those were the basics, okay? So here's your job, here's your task. You are an oceanographer in California that has been studying oceans and their importance to our planet Earth. However, there is one topic in particular about the ocean that you want to bring awareness to. You're going to conduct further research on this topic. You will also create either a slideshow, an essay, or a digital poster to share your results with fellow oceanographers. Remember, your research is important to maintaining a healthy ocean life in California. So what I mean by you want to bring awareness to something, that means one of those questions that I had on that previous slide, you get to pick one of those and you're going to research it, and then bringing awareness to it just means you're educating people about it. You're sharing your information, your wealth of knowledge about that question, that answers that question. Okay? So there are some things I'm looking for. We're going to spend one full week. So we're spending this week on research. So you're going to pick your topic, obviously, and I'm going to go over more what you're doing day by day, obviously, but you're going to pick your topic, and then you're going to spend today and tomorrow doing your research, looking for resources, using Kiddle, using Google, looking for websites that will help you gather that information. Our textbook might be one of them that you want to use. Might be, depending on your topic. And then you're going to make a plan. Everyone's writing an essay. Just how that essay looks might look different, but everyone's going to be writing an informational essay. So that means you're going to use an informational planner. That would be like when we draw out the greens, the yellows, and the reds, and all that stuff. So that link right there will take you to the informational planner that we've used. But you're going to be making that on a piece of paper. That's what we normally do, right, guys? We would write and make our own planner on a piece of paper, but that link shows you a sample that you can use to kind of guide you as you make your plan. Those two things are what we're doing this week. Next week, we're going to put all of those pieces together and making a project. It's going to be kind of a quick project because that's the only assignment you're going to have for reading is making that project happen. So you get a choice on how you want that to look. And so I've given you some samples, but you can use whatever, like if you have a different way to share it, that's up to you. But just to get people started, I did give you some sample templates there for slides, a doc, or a digital poster. But you get to choose how you present your informational essay. And then you're going to edit to make sure that you get a good score on the rubric. And then when we get to finishing it up, that presentation just means you're going to explain it in Flipgrid. You're going to put your link, and I'll show all that to you in a second, into these slides for everyone to see, and then you're going to explain in a Flipgrid. So just generally, that's what the whole project consists of. This is kind of easier to see, like step by step, if this is helpful for you. Step one, this is what we're doing starting today. Choose a topic of interest, meaning one of those questions. Begin researching using Kittle and Google and take notes on key details from all sources. That is what we're doing today. That is what we're doing tomorrow, spending 2 days of just researching. Step 2 is when you're ready and you have all your notes done, take out a highlighter and start to decide which of those details you wrote you want to use in your writing. And then you'll also maybe highlight it and think about what are some things in common about those things, so that way you can start developing your main idea or your topic sentences for your middle paragraphs. That's going to happen this week as well. Finally, step 3, your last piece. This will happen on Thursday, beginning your informational writing plan, which means that you're going to take your notes and put what you're highlighting, what you've highlighted, and create them into your plan. This process we've done several times in our classroom, this year. And so we research, we start to highlight what evidence we're going to use, and then you're going to make your plan. So those top 3 boxes on the top, that's what you're doing this week. Okay? The following week, I'm going to get more into details about that next week, but just generally next week, we'll start at step 5, where we're going to start writing on our informational essay, depending on if you're going to put it into slides, a doc, or a digital poster. You're going to check yourself on a rubric. Step 6, step 7. Step 7, that's when you're going to decorate it, make it look good, add some illustrations, graphics, color, change the font, make it look interesting for the people that are looking at it. And then final step 8 is present it, which means you're going to copy and paste a link, which I'll show you that next week, but you're going to turn it in basically by putting the link in, and then you're going to explain it in a Flipgrid. Okay, so those are overall the entire steps, kind of like day by day a little bit, but today's job is step 1, just step 1. Tomorrow's job, just step 1, continuing from what we're doing today. You will need to have multiple sources, so it's not going to be only one website that you find. All right, I want to show you some sample projects. I wrote my own essay, but I made them in 3 different ways, so you can see how you have 3 different options when you're ready. So you can see the sample project in slides. I basically took every paragraph and put them into multiple slides versus writing it in a Google Doc where I put them all together. This is what we were kind of more used to in the classroom setting. We might write the essay in a Google Doc, so if you want to do it that way, there's that. And then digital poster is a little different. It's using slides, but it's used kind of like making a poster on a piece of paper kind of look to it. And so all 3 of those projects are my projects. The same information, the same paragraphs, just displayed in different ways. So you're going to end up deciding which type you're going to want to present it in. This will not happen this week. This will be next week when you actually start writing. So just wanted you to know that there are some samples you can take a look at. And then let's say that you want to do the slides. Then you can use the template that's on the bottom and click there, and it has a blank version of what I've created. So you can also make it if that's what you want to do. Okay? And then when we are ready to start researching, I'm going to show you that this couple of slides after that, I'm going to click through a few. These are all of the topics that you get to choose. So let's say that you're going to choose a topic. What are some challenges we are now seeing with the ocean? How long will it take to fix all of the problems? Let's say that is your topic that you want to do. Now, the first box right next to it, right over here, says helpful hints while you research. So let's say that today you're starting to research, right? So then you're going to go into Kittle or Google, whatever you prefer, and you're going to start to research. Now, researching requires keywords. Now, you're going to do some keywords, but you're not going to type in a lot of words. Sometimes that might not give you the results that you're looking for. So I gave you some clues. So climate change and oceans, you might click and research that. Ocean changes, you might use those keywords. When I do research, and I'll model for this next week, or I'll model for you a bit on this too, but when I do research, I try multiple keywords until I find what I'm really looking for. And then those are some other options you can use, and you're going to make sure you take notes and writing to the sources. Don't worry about the writing piece, the next box over. Don't worry about that. That's next week. But for today, you're going to be researching. I'm going to model for you with the one that I'm doing. You are not using this one. This is my question that I model with. Why are oceans salty? So let's just say that I'm starting to do my research today, just like you are, and I need to find out some details about that topic. So why are oceans salty? I'm going to choose to use Kittle And I might look up words like using keywords like ocean salt levels, salty oceans, and ocean water. And I can also use my text, of course, if I wanted to use that as a resource. So if I look at, I'm going to see if this will work. If I open a new tab, I'm going to look up in Kittl, www.kittl.co, and I would use one of those keywords. So I'm going to click back to make sure. Let's do salty oceans. I'm going to try that keyword, salty oceans, and search. Then I'm going to take a look at Kittl, what they give me. Now remember that Kittl and Google both work the same way, that if you see sometimes there might be ads first. I don't see ads this time first, but sometimes you might see ads, so you'll go down a bit. This first one, I can't tell. That one looks a little different. I'll try it though. It says ocean salinity, and then what is happening in the ocean? That one might be a good one. How the Arctic Ocean became salty. Ooh, that one sounds really good. I think I might want that one. What Kittl does and Google does, sorry, I didn't finish my thought there. They will give you the most popular ones that will answer your question first. So I'm going to try this third one because I feel like it's right along. Oh, this last one too. Why is the ocean salty? Might be a helpful one. But let me take a look at this one. I may or may not want this, but I kind of glance through it. Ooh, I like it. And kind of read through some of it and decide if it's helpful or not. And then if it is, then I'll start to take notes on it. If I don't feel like it's going to be helpful, then I will go back and look at another one. So it'll be up to you. You'll kind of go through it and see if it's working for you. And then you can go back. I'm going to try this one. Why is the ocean salty? Because that actually kind of aligns to my question. And see what I get here. It does explain a little bit about dissolved carbon dioxide from surrounding air. So it does give me some information, maybe not the best, but it does give me some that might be helpful. So this is what you would be doing, is you would go through and look at some of the sources until you find one that really helps you answer your question. Let me check this first one, because it does come from NASA, and you know how I feel about NASA, pretty reliable source. Ooh, I do like there's a video on this one. Oh, I can tell that this one's going to be a great one. It reminds me of our text, because our text pretty much shared this information too. Look at that. How does the ocean affect climate? This would be a great resource for a lot of the questions, I think. Does the salt in the ocean do anything? Ooh. So let's say that this is what I would want to use, because it looks pretty good. I would need to make sure that I write this website down in my 2-column notes with sources and details. And then I would go ahead and start looking at what is the information in here that I would want to write some notes about. So the amount of salt in the ocean the amount of salt in the ocean water also affects currents. So I might write in my notes, salt affects currents. Saltier water is heavier than less salty water. I might write that exact thing on my notes. When salty water, ocean water freezes, the ice can no longer hold on to the salt. Instead, the salt mixes with the water below, making it saltier and heavier. So I might paraphrase that a bit, but I can put that in my notes. So as you can see, this is going to be a nice, reliable source for me, and that's how I would take my notes. Let me go back to our directions. I can try different keywords and continue that until I find the source that I want or find most useful, and I will spend today and tomorrow with those same with the same research idea, that I'm going to be taking notes using sources. Please make sure you get all of this research done by tomorrow. That way we can move on to the next step. So spend today and tomorrow doing your research. And then I'm not going to collect anything for that. You're just going to be taking your notes and having your paper ready. That's what I'm going to need to have done, okay? Let me make sure there isn't anything else that we need. All right, so if you have any questions about how to research, you can reach out to me, but I think you'll be okay. We've done this before, and you've used Kittl before. Google will work too. I just don't really know permissions-wise, depending on the device you're using, if you're going to have any restrictions for that. Kittl, usually everything in there is going to be accessible, so I really like using Kittle, especially for the classroom assignments. So take your notes. We'll first choose a topic, right? Then take your notes. And then I think you're going to be fine, right? If you have any questions about research, though, please let me know. Good luck. Can't wait to see or hear about how things go during our Zoom call, too, because I'm going to be asking how it went. All right, guys. See you later.